with those people competing in this year's Gazelles off-road rally. Now, what happens when you're a soldier and it's the barracks, not the battlefield, that's your war zone? As an increasing number of women enter the armed forces across the world, there's been a rise in cases of sexual violence. For instance, here in France, dozens of women personnel say they were victims of rape or harassment, accusations that have forced the French Defence Ministry to act.
This woman spent a decade fighting for her country, but only has this photo album to show for it. Filled with memories of her life in the French army, a world she left behind 18 months ago. She says she was the victim of sexual assault by her superior and is now speaking out.
There were messages, there were letters. I had a work mobile phone and he would call me on that to tell me intimate things, that he wanted to see me, that he was thinking of me, that I was the love of his life, etc. So in the beginning I tried to reason with him calmly and gently. After some time, seeing that that didn't work, I was firmer, sometimes even very aggressive. So he reacted very, very badly.
On a work trip, she was staying in the same hotel as her boss. He summoned her to his room for a meeting.
As soon as I walked in, I realized it was a trap, that the grip was tightening and it was too late.
That night, she says, he raped her. She immediately reported it.
There was an internal investigation. I asked to see the results of this investigation, but the army refused to give them to me. That's what made me file a complaint in court.
Sadly, this is not an isolated case, and it's far from being just a French problem. Harassment in the armed forces is epidemic across the globe. With women becoming a growing minority in the ranks, many feel it's difficult to make a complaint, and when they do, that it's not taken seriously. 30-year-old Anne-Marie Elmont hung herself at her barracks in the UK in 2011. Her family says she was bullied and ostracised after she told army bosses she'd been raped by 2 soldiers in her platoon. Earlier this month, the coroner criticised the British Army, saying elements of their handling of the case had been unforgivably bad. And the head of Australia's army said there were systematic problems inside his forces when it was revealed more than 100 male soldiers had distributed explicit photographs of female colleagues in an email chain. The then Prime Minister Julia Gillard, who had worked hard to open army doors to more women, was shocked.
I'm very disappointed, I'm very concerned, and clearly the material here is repugnant.
But with women more and more present on the front line, the wheels of change are slowly turning. This month, the US Senate voted unanimously on new legislation to better protect victims of harassment and abuse among the United States Armed Forces. The bill is now with the House of Representatives.